Mary had a little lamb.
So you're not happy with the sound of your vocal tracks. Today we're going to tackle a couple of reasons why that might be the case and how to fix it. So let's dive in. This first thing I almost don't even want to say because it's fairly obvious, but it's also going to hurt some feelings. But one of the primary reasons why your vocal tracks might not sound good is because the singer does not sound good.
How dare you, sir? You are gross.
I know it seems super obvious, but there's this belief that even the smartest of people tend to fall for, which is I can record it and then I can slap some auto-tune on it and then maybe a few other tricks and make it sound amazing. It's just not the case. It's just not the case. When I think about singing, I think about pitch, which is important. I think about timing. It can be hard for singers to kind of have a good time feel and sing in time with the music. And then I think about tone. And Autotune, Melodyne, they really only handle the first one, right? They can take my pitch and make it a little more in pitch. And that's wonderful, but it does nothing for timing and tone. Okay, Melodyne can also fix timing. But tone is the piece that none of those things can touch. So I could sing a song. I think that the pervasive theory is Melodyne can make anyone sound good. No, of course not. I could sing, Mary had a little lamb, and we could fix the timing on that. We could fix the pitch on that. And guess what? It still sounds boring and terrible. Why? Because the vocal performance was boring and terrible. How dare you? I know this comes across as harsh, but the answer might be take voice lessons, get better at this craft, use another singer. Maybe you don't need to be the singer in this band, or accept it and move on. So your voice will sound like your voice and you're okay with it, but stop looking for ways to fix it or transform it when the core material itself just isn't all that great. I'm not saying you have to have a perfect voice. I had somebody tell me once, Joe, you're not a good singer. You should have someone else sing your songs. Even if I believe that was true, I enjoy singing my songs. So don't let me keep you from the joy of singing your own songs, but be realistic with yourself. If you don't have that great of a voice, don't expect me to come in and give you a bunch of cool tools and hacks and tricks that will transform this recorded vocal. It's not going to happen. You got to take the blinders off and take a little dose of reality. Okay, we got that out of the way. It's in the past. We're moving on now. Another reason why your vocal tracks might not sound that great is because you're just too far away from the microphone. I will confess, early on in the home studio corner days, I had this thought that if being too close to the microphone causes a lot of boominess because of the proximity effect, that we should all just back away from the microphone. And I would look at pictures of people like Sinatra singing from 3 feet away from the mic and think, there's your evidence that this is how it should be done. Or you would look at microphone ads in magazines, and typically they want to show off the microphone so the singer isn't right up on it. The singer is farther away in the picture because it makes the microphone look good. But in reality, the sound of the modern vocal, we're talking almost any genre, pop, rock, folk, country, is the sound of a person, what they call eating the microphone. They're right up on the microphone, singing right into it. That's what you see live. That's what you see and hear in the studio. So for a lot of people, simply just getting closer to the microphone will solve a lot of those problems. Let me show you what that sounds like. Here I've recorded 2 different vocal tracks with the same microphone, one really close and one really far away. Let's take a listen. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. Everybody out there is watching it grow taller. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. Everybody out there is watching it grow taller. To hammer home the difference, here's the close one. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. And here's the far away one. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. So right out of the gate, the first one sounds more like what I want my vocal to sound. It's fuller, it's bigger, it's more intimate, it's up close, it's more aggressive. It's all those words that we want out of our vocal. Here's where it gets interesting. Both of those in the mix perhaps would work as is, even though the one from far away is very nasally. But check out what happens when we slap a compressor on it. So let's just dial in a compressor on the first vocal just for giggles. This is roughly how I would dial it in. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. Everybody out there is watching it grow taller. Part of it is that extra low end from being close to the mic triggers the compressor, and it's a cool sound. We could always roll off that low end later if we wanted, but listen to what that exact same compressor sounds like when we put it on the other vocal. Same compressor settings. Does it give us that same beautiful kind of in-your-face sound or not? Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. Everybody out there is watching it grow taller. So if you saw my face while listening to that, I kind of winced on some of those phrases because with the mic so far away, it's like we rolled off the low end of what we recorded. So now the compressor is only hearing mid-range and high mids, and that kind of nasalness to my voice is accentuated from that distance versus when I get closer to the mic, it adds in a level of low end that really serves to balance things out. That actually leads me to my final point of why your vocals might not sound so great. The final culprit is what I'll call selfish frequencies. Balance is the name of the game here. I want to hear the different frequencies of the vocal. I don't want a certain group of frequencies to be selfish and to be the only thing I hear in the mix at the expense of the other frequencies. So the really, really low stuff in a vocal you typically don't need in a mix. But the two places where this causes problems are in the mid-range and the upper mids. So the mid-range is where a lot of hollowness comes from. So if you've got a big build-up here, a lot of factors can contribute, like just the tone of the voice itself, the microphone you're using, but a lot of build-up here can sound like this. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this wall. And over the top of the mix, those frequencies end up being the predominant ones that you hear. Brick by brick, I'm gonna build this. So the vocal sounds what a lot of people would call muddy, and it's not because of the low frequencies. It's not the 200 hertz that's causing this. It's more like the 500 hertz. So it makes the vocal sound like I put my hands over my mouth. If that's the case in your vocals, come in and do a nice wide little cut here around 400 or 500 hertz, and it'll smack down those mids that are being selfish and put them in their proper place. The other place where this can really hurt you is in the upper mids, where a lot of nasal frequencies can happen, especially around 2 to 3K. If those are just even a little bit out of hand, it can really make the vocal sound harsh. Brick by brick. See, I can't even listen to that. But as you can imagine, that on top of the entire mix, that's all you hear is So coming in and making sure if you have that excessive amount of frequencies there, a lot of times you can find a small group of those frequencies and just notch them out, and it makes things sound nice and smooth. So without even listening, I'm going to guess 2.6 is a little bit harsh here, and if I just pull that down, it should sound smoother. Brick by brick. Ah, nice and smooth. All right, we've covered 3 of the culprits that are trying to sabotage your vocals. I'm sure we will cover more in the future. What are your vocal culprits? Leave a comment below and let us know. And by the way, if you haven't seen this video, it goes through my process for recording vocals so that I get good takes without taking forever. It's definitely a must watch. And while you're going there, open up a new tab and go to homestudiocorner.com/checklist. If you haven't gotten a free copy of my, my ultimate production checklist, this bad boy right here, get one. This will help you when you are doing those, especially those overdub sessions where you're trying to figure out what instruments to play, what parts to play, how to record them. This will give you ideas and kind of trigger yourself to make sure you're moving in the right direction. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, all that fun stuff. I'll see you in the next one.